Hey YouTubers, and welcome back to another Dragon Ball Super theory / speculation video. And once again joining me is none other than Kihokai 1994. Man, what is up?
What's up, everybody? It's been a little bit, so it's nice to see you again, Mark. How you doing?
It's good, man. It's good. All right. So you and I are going to be discussing this today, and honestly, this is a little thing that I think MJ and I have spoken briefly about every now and then, but we never necessarily made a video on it, and I'm seeing a lot of you guys in comment sections I guess speculating this as well. It's just a general assumption amongst the fans that right now we have two Zenos, one from the present and one from the future, but how long is it actually going to remain that particular way? Is there going to be a situation where we're not going to have two Zenos anymore, or in fact we might not even have any Zenos anymore? And you might be asking, like, what do you mean, man? Like, how would there never be any Zenos? Because there's definitely two right now. Well, I think, and you could disagree, can agree with me. I want to hear everyone's thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. But personally, if you look at exactly how the Future Trunks arc played out, the only thing that greatly affected our particular timeline, unless you kind of count the whole erasing Zamasu, creating a whole nother timeline and everything, but that doesn't necessarily affect anything that we've seen thus far. The one thing that does is Goku going back into the destroyed timeline of Trunks' future, grabbing future Zeno and bringing him back to the current timeline Zeno to be his best friend. And it's weird. Like, it's so weird that that is the thing that's going to push, I guess, this particular tournament and all the other things that we're going to probably be seeing going forward. And no one has questioned it. No one has done anything to even indicate that this might be weird or this is super taboo, because time travel isn't necessarily allowed in the Dragon Ball world. And personally, with Zeno, ever since he was introduced back in the Champa arc, it was like, who is this guy? He's really childish. I mean, this guy is way too powerful for Dragon Ball's own good. How is he actually going to be useful, and how is anything going to be a legitimate threat when you have someone who can literally, without getting even angry, like not even angry, maybe annoyed, but could take out an entire universe or multiverse with nothing, just because he gets mad, he destroys 6 universes or something like that. Who could potentially step up and kill that person? And you know what? That guy can kill that guy. So I think that Super might be, we've seen little bits and hints, hints about this, going into this arc that might indicate that these guys probably won't see eye to eye, or there's going to be some kind of disagreement between them. I'll let Kihokai basically discuss this stuff, that they might actually end up erasing each other, because if you can destroy an entire timeline, an entire multiverse, or just universes on a whim, you can definitely destroy the strongest being in ever existence, if you are the strongest being to have ever existed. So man, what are your thoughts on this? And tell everyone the stuff that we were talking about beforehand, all the little clues and hints that they've been giving us to show that these guys probably don't see eye to eye every single time.
Okay, so obviously, like what you said, we have two Zenos from two different timelines. So him coming back, well, him being in our timeline, now has taken away a Zeno from another universe, or not another multiverse. So I find that is one problem, because who is in control of that multiverse? So that multiverse can be spiraling out of control, or doesn't exist anymore at this point because he decided to come over here. You were talking about how the gods of destruction never question anything. Even with his almighty power, why are they okay that he did time travel? I don't see exactly why they're okay with that. But I guess that's not exactly what this topic is. But so little bits that we've seen through this arc of them not agreeing are, one, to me, their word choice. I'm not 100% always certain which one's which, but it seems that the present R Zeno says, like, that's awesome, and then the future Zeno says, that's interesting. So little small word choices that they choose to describe things are different. So I feel like that can escalate somewhere into being a real disagreement. And their real disagreement could be galactically a problem to our whole, not just our universe, not just all of our universes, but any number of multitude of multiverses that align with anything that is Dragon Ball. I see that being a problem, and especially they get bored very easily, both of them. We saw them playing that galactic chess game where they were flicking the planets, and they both seem to be very bored very easily, so I feel like if they don't disagree, that maybe not fists being thrown, but maybe small flicks at each other being thrown that would be super devastating.
and potentially even, yeah, like detrimental to all the surviving universes, depending on how many surviving universes are actually going to come out of this particular tournament. But I understand where you're coming from. It's not just them having bad word choices or not necessarily agreeing with each other or seeing eye to eye and, you know, saying the exact same thing. It's also the consistent, I guess, portrayal of the future Zamasu, or of the future Zeno, basically raising the wrong hand, raising basically mirror image instead of raising the right hand when he should be raising the left or something. You've seen that over and over again. You know, they've at least done it twice now, and it's weird to me and a really interesting contest. Like, this is not a joke. Like, I don't understand why they keep doing it. Yeah, it's a little cute, and it definitely does show their two personalities, but if anything, I would imagine that's being played for laughs, and it just doesn't hit anywhere close to being humorous in the way that they want it to, I think. And it just makes me question, like, what is the difference between these two particular guys, and why are they not necessarily seeing eye to eye when they really should be, considering the fact that they're kind of simple-minded, omnipotent beings for this entire universe. And just considering the fact that they're kind of omnipotent, and it looks like, yeah, they get bored and they get angry very easily, taking out entire universes, entire timelines, entire multiverses, basically, for no reason. Like, for no reason other than, oh man, that's a bit of that's an annoyance. I can't imagine there wouldn't be at least one occasion where the story's building up to where they disagree with each other and then end up going after each other, potentially simultaneously erasing each other. And then what are we going to do as the show progresses? I mean, a lot of people have speculated that the Grand Priest is probably evil, or could be evil, or there could be an evil god of destruction, or an evil angel, or something like that. I mean, those rumors and speculations and theories have been all over this ever since
the Grand Priest smiled.
Well, ever since Dragon Ball Super began, really. But yeah, like, it's just so interesting to me that these guys, not only do we have two of them right now, not only are we in such a dire situation, even though they seem to think it's so fun and interesting, but they could potentially be utilizing the story, or at least that repercussion from the Future Trunks arc, to introduce this new Zeno, have them basically get into a disagreement, potentially for something about the tournament. You know,
I have a feeling it is going to be about the tournament.
Yeah, like, this is like, oh, this is fun, I want to do this again. No, we have to blow up all these universes and stuff, but if we blow them up, they're not going to be able to fight for us anymore. No, it needs to be done, yada, 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 so they erase each other or something like that, and that creates a vacuum and potentially so many more stories for the future of Dragon Ball Super, where you don't necessarily know who's in charge anymore, who they're fighting, or who might even be the new Zeno.
I mean, you kind of just said the exact thing I was going to go on next about, but I do, just in the sense of how you rule a community, or how you rule your country, or however your thing is that you're in charge of. It's easier to be in charge of when it's just you. When there's no other opinion, no other anything coming in for it. A dictatorship, honestly, is the easiest way to rule. Now, is it the correct way to rule? There's a lot of different judges on that. But it is the easiest way to rule because your word is law. Now, there is not one word that is law. There are two all-powerful beings that are law. Both of them are the same exact... Oh, well, okay, I can't say same exact power level, but I assume that they would both be the same power level. So we have two of these hierarchy characters that now are trying to have to act like one, and I'm thinking that the end of this tournament is going to be what sets them off to two different paths. One of them, like what you said, is going to agree, like, we need to kill all of the universes that didn't win. We said that's what we were going to do. We stick to what we say. The other one's going to be like, no, it was fun. I want to let them all live. Let's do this. And then we get to spiral down that hole. But I was also thinking, we've talked about how if, like, well, we haven't, but the show's talked about if a Kaioshin dies, the God of Destruction dies. If the God of Destruction dies, the Kaioshin dies. What happens to all of the gods when Zeno dies? I mean, the angels won't go anywhere, but what's going to happen to all of the universal gods that we now see?
And that would be really interesting. Like, so the overall scope of this particular tournament is the Zenos are going to destroy the universes with low mortal levels that they feel like shouldn't exist anyway, because they're just kind of annoying and don't necessarry.
They feel like the Kais didn't do their job, is the way I see it.
Yeah, and they don't necessarily think that they're worth their time. Everything is boring. They get kind of annoyed really easily. So it makes sense that I'm tired of looking after these universes. They're not doing what they should be doing well. All the other ones, 5, 8, 1, and 12 are doing it right, and I'd rather just, or both of them really, would rather just focus on those particular universes and let one of the other winning universes win. If they were to erase each other, and you're right, like, you don't know what type of a power vacuum that's going to make with the Gods of Destruction. How is it going to affect the angels or the Kais or the Gods of Destruction?
Or maybe the Super Dragon Balls.
Maybe. I mean, I don't necessarily think so, but potentially maybe. Who's going to try to sit up and fill that void when it comes to who's going to be the new Zeno? And that could lead us into so many different arcs and so many different situations. It'd be really interesting if this is kind of I guess, like a destruction of universes arc, and then the next arc, if they end up killing each other and creates that kind of chaos, it's kind of a collapse and breaking down the barriers between all the universes. So instead of actually having 12 universes, you have basically one big multiverse, all kind of smashed together, and all the surviving people. So you have people like Hit, Goku, Vegeta, the Pride Troopers, and all the other people basically, I guess, trying to pick up the pieces, and all this other stuff is going in. So what if, like, I guess my point is, like, what if Zeno is what creates the barrier between the universes, and they only need, like, the cube or the angels or something to basically go in between, but they can't just go in between as mortals. So if they both die, that basically collapses, and all the other universes basically combined into one and creates utter chaos.
Yeah, you have 12 essential barriers being broken down, and instead of it being 12 separate countries, you're now left to have one country. I mean, kind of like what they did in the Dragon Ball community, the Dragon Ball storyline already, where it's the Earth is one state of, like, a lot of different factions, but it's all one state controlled by one person. So if that barrier is shut down, I mean, obviously our Earth is going to be affected, but if that barrier is shut down, now any planet in our universe, Universe 7, is now liable of getting any attack from any form of people. So we could see somebody like Frost and Frieza kind of team together and start just picking off planets that they think they want.
Yeah, and it would also be really cool if they would potentially, if that were to happen, considering the fact that we're going to destroy your entire universe, and that's not just living people, it's also the dead, it's also the Gods of Destruction and the Kais. The only one who's going to live is the angels, and it would be interesting if the Zenos basically killed each other. It would give Super a really interesting way to adapt the Fusion Reborn movie, where Frieza and Frost and anyone who's dead from the other universes, they're all allowed to live again. Even if they were erased or something, you could just kind of figure out one way or another how this makes sense. I'm not sure.
No barrier.
And no barrier, no real existence or anything. So everyone who did die is still alive, and you can still play with everyone we just introduced without having to worry about who actually dies. So you still have the dramatic situation that you created in the Universe Survival arc in the Tournament of Power, but you can also kind of get around that by basically breaking down all living barriers, and so you can still have Frost and Frieza working together, or any of that other stuff that would be really cool. Plus bringing back old enemies and stuff, and something that can just last for another epic arc.
And after, if they do decide that that's where they want to go, and we do have our little bit of peaceful time, even if it's not the 10 years that everybody wants, whenever Oob comes in, then we can kind of see maybe, even though Goku wants his own fight, maybe he needs a sidekick to help him out in the universe saving aspect of everything as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what Oob needs, because Goku's definitely getting up there at that point.
Yeah, I mean, he's older in age. I mean, they may be able to, what is it, prime till their 70s or 80s? But,
80s.
Yeah, so, I mean, he'll get there eventually.
He will. But anyway, guys, I think we're going to leave it at that unless Kihokai has anything left to say.
No, I think that one's pretty solid. I mean, I'm kind of tired of seeing the two keep repeating each other, even if it is minorly different in words. I'm tired of rearranging word placement.
Hopefully they just end each other and then we don't have to worry about them. But no, anyway, I kind of like it, but like I said, it's not necessarily the funniest thing ever.
Like you said, it's cute, it's a laugh, but every time...
Yeah, exactly. It gets a little old. But with that being said, guys, like I said at the beginning of the video, I want to hear everyone's thoughts and opinions on this in the comment section below. Please make sure to go down to the description section below, hit that link to Kihokai's channel, and make sure to go subscribe to him. The guy makes some real awesome quality Dragon Ball content for everyone who's interested, and not just Super content, but also Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z as well. So if you like the old classics and you don't want to always hear speculations and theories about Super stuff, he's definitely someone to go check out.
You know I love the classics.
Although he does have, you know, some Dragon Ball Super stuff as well, and he promises me that he'll have more. But with that being said, guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe onto this video. Share it out to all your friends. Do not forget to hit that bell over by the subscriber button to notify you every single time I upload. And also, if you're interested, make sure to go check out my second channel, where I'm going to be discussing movies and television shows and box office numbers and everything else like that, and basically leaving this channel basically to do nothing but Dragon Ball and anime stuff. So with that being said, guys, it's been real.
Catch you later.